Today we are going to learn some verbs and vocabulary that will allow you to describe yourself and someone else in Spanish. I have divided the content on general appearance and skin color, and then age, eyes, hair and other details. And finally, I will briefly refer to how to describe clothes and accessories. Empecemos. ¿Cómo eres? What are you like? How do you look like? ¿Cómo es? What does he look like? What does she look like? ¿Cómo son? What are they like? How do they look like? If you have already seen my video on personal description, you might have noticed that we ask the same questions for both physical appearance and character, so you will be able to differentiate depending on the context. If you haven't seen it yet, I will link it at the end of this video. Pay attention to the highlighted verbs. As you can see, eres from the question will become soy in the answer, I am. The good thing is that when we ask about él, ella, usted, or ellos, ellas, ustedes, the verb remains the same for both the question and the answer, es, son. These are the three verbs that you will need to use to describe people in Spanish: ser, to be, tener, to have, and llevar, to wear. The key to master the description is to understand all the required agreements. With ser, both the verb and the adjective must agree with the person that you are describing. But with tener, the verb must agree with the person that you are describing, whereas the adjective must agree with the object that you are describing, not the person. Llevar will work the same way as tener. Ser will be used to talk about general appearance and skin color. Let's start with ser for general appearance, la apariencia general. The main difference that you will find is that in Spanish we must differentiate between singular and plural and between masculine and feminine, whereas in English you only need to change the verb to describe different people, but not the adjective. So in Spanish, if I wanted to say I am tall, I could say soy alto if I was a man, and soy alta if I was a woman. If you wanted to say he is short, you could say es bajo if he was a man, and es baja if she was a woman. If you wanted to say they are tall, you could say son altos if they were a group of men or men and women, and son altas if they were a group of women only. If you wanted to say they are short, you could say son bajos if they were a group of men or men and women, and son bajas if they were a group of women only. If I wanted to say I am fat, I could say soy gordo if I was a man, and soy gorda if I was a woman. If you wanted to say he is slim, you could say es delgado if he was a man, and es delgada if she was a woman. If you wanted to say they are fat, you could say son gordos if they are a group of men or men and women, and son gordas if they were a group of women only. If you wanted to say they are slim, you could say son delgados if they were a group of men or men and women, and son delgadas if they were a group of women only. When describing, we tend to use qualifiers to add detail to the adjective. The most basic ones are un poco, a bit, bastante, quite, muy, very. These qualifiers go before the adjective. Soy un poco baja, I am a bit short. Soy bastante gordo, I am quite fat. Soy muy alta, I am very tall. Ser can also be used to describe skin color, el color de la piel. These adjectives will work in the same way as I have just described for general appearance. So you will need to make the agreement with the gender of the person or persons that you are describing. So you could say, for masculine, soy blanco, soy moreno, soy negro. For feminine, soy blanca, soy morena, soy negra. For él or usted, you would say. Es blanco, es moreno, es negro. For ella or usted, you would say. Es blanca, es morena, es negra. For ellos o ustedes, you would say. Son blancos, son morenos, son negros. For ellas o ustedes, you would say. Son blancas, son morenas, son negras. It is important that you know that if you say negro in Spanish when describing people, it is not considered racist, but it could be if you say it in a rude tone. In a more advanced video, I will explain in more detail how to describe people and avoid being rude or inappropriate. Atención! Like in English, if you are tan, you will have to change the verb from ser to estar. I will explain the difference between ser and estar in another video, but for the time being, we will say that we have to use estar because the tan is temporary, as it will fade away. Estoy moreno, estoy morena, está moreno, está morena, están morenos, están morenas. Tener, to have. Tener will be used to say the age, which is a bit weird, as in English you used to be, not to have. Tener will also be used to talk about eyes, hair, and some extra details. The age, la edad. Be aware that in the translation you will say, I am 9 years old. Tengo 9 años. He is 21 years old. Tiene 21 años. And they are 50 years old. Tienen 50 años. If you need to revise how to say the numbers in Spanish, you can watch any of the videos on the screen that will be linked in the description box below. Eyes, los ojos. Eyes in Spanish is a masculine plural noun. Therefore, you will need to make the adjective agree with the word ojos. This means that the adjective won't agree with the person or persons that you are describing. Be careful with that. The person here will only affect the verb. So, if I wanted to say I have blue eyes, I could say tengo los ojos azules. If you wanted to say he has gray eyes, you could say tiene los ojos grises. If you wanted to say she has brown eyes, you could say tiene los ojos marrones. If you wanted to say they have green eyes, you could say tienen los ojos verdes. If you want to add more detail, such as light or dark, you will have to say tengo los ojos claros, I have light-colored eyes, and tengo los ojos oscuros, I have dark-colored eyes. But be careful, if you need to say the color plus light or dark, then you will use the singular for both adjectives, even when you are describing a plural noun. Then, tengo los ojos azul claro, I have light blue eyes, and tengo los ojos azul oscuro, I have dark blue eyes. The hair, el pelo. Hair in Spanish is a masculine singular noun. Therefore, you will need to make the adjective agree with the word pelo. So in the same way it happened with the eyes, the adjective won't agree with the person or persons that you are describing. So just remember to make the agreement between the subject, the person that you are describing, and the verb. For the hair, we are going to see the vocabulary for basic shapes, colors, and textures. If I wanted to say I have short hair, I could say tengo el pelo corto. If I wanted to say he has short hair, you could say tiene el pelo corto. If you wanted to say she has long hair, you would say tiene el pelo largo. If you wanted to say they have long hair, you could say tienen el pelo largo. When you want to add color to the description of the hair, you only need to remember the following colors: blanco, white, castaño, brunette or brown, gris, gray, negro, black, pelirrojo, ginger, rubio, blonde. So, I have white hair would be tengo el pelo blanco. He has brown or brunette hair. Tiene el pelo castaño. She has gray hair. Tiene el pelo gris. You singular formal have black hair. Usted tiene el pelo negro. They have ginger hair. Tienen el pelo pelirrojo, and so on. As we have seen with the eyes, if I wanted to say I have light brown hair, I would say tengo el pelo castaño claro o tengo el pelo castaño oscuro. I have dark brown hair. To describe hair texture, you could say I have frizzy hair. Tengo el pelo encrespado. He has straight hair. Tiene el pelo liso. She has wavy hair. Tiene el pelo ondulado. They have curly hair. Tienen el pelo rizado. Also, with the hair, you might want to say, like in English, I am bald, for what you would use the verb ser. Like when we described general appearance and the skin color with ser, as I mentioned before, you will need to make the agreement with the person that you are describing. Soy calvo. Soy rubio. Soy pelirrojo. Soy calva. Soy rubia. Soy pelirroja. For él or usted. Es calvo. Es rubio. Es pelirrojo. For ella or usted. Es calva. Es rubia. Es pelirroja. Just bear in mind that with calva for female, it's quite possible that we use the verb estar rather than ser. As to be bald, it is not as common for women as it is amongst men. For ellos or ustedes, son calvos, son rubios, son pelirrojos. For ellas or ustedes, son calvas, son rubias, son pelirrojas. Extras. If I wanted to say I have glasses, I could say tengo gafas. She has freckles. Tiene pecas. He has a beard. Tiene barba. They have a mustache. Tienen bigote. Finally, we have the verb llevar, to wear, that we can use to talk about clothes and accessories. I wear, llevo. Él lleva, ella lleva, usted lleva. Ellos, ellas, ustedes llevan. Followed by clothes and or accessories. In case that you haven't seen this video, I will leave a link at the end of this one so you can revise that vocabulary if needed. To summarize, now we are going to see all the adjectives that we have seen in today's video. I am going to read them all so you can focus on the vocabulary whilst observing the structure of the sentences. Alto, alta, bajo, baja, delgado, delgada, gordo, gorda, blanco, blanca, moreno, morena, negro, negra. Altos, altas, bajos, bajas, delgados, delgadas, gordos, gordas, blancos, blancas, morenos, morenas, negros, negras. Los ojos azules, los ojos grises, los ojos marrones, los ojos verdes. El pelo corto, blanco y encrespado. You can make obviously any combination possible here. Largo, castaño y liso. You can even change the word order. Largo, negro y ondulado. Then we have calvo, calva, rubio, rubia, pelirrojo, pelirroja, calvos, calvas, rubios, rubias, pelirrojos, pelirrojas, and gafas, pecas, barba y bigote. Pregunta del día. ¿Cómo eres? Leave your description in the comment section below and I will check your answers. Buen trabajo. Hasta la próxima clase. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.